Welcome to the webinar this evening. I'm Dr. Lulu. I'm a naturopathic physician. I'm a functional medicine practitioner, author, and botanical formulator. And I really specialize in helping women, but I help men as well regain hormonal balance, right? And vitality, really by discovering the root cause of what's going on. Like instead of suppressing the body's natural ability to heal, their vitality want to really start to ignite the body's ability to heal. And why has it been suppressed? Why? And we want to figure that out as a detective. Okay, all these symptoms might be going on, but really, what's the root cause? How can we reignite the body's innate ability to heal to allow that sustainable place, that sustainable sense of prevention and wellness? Okay, so then I'll also be sharing right tonight my 7 habits for a lifetime of health. So grab that notebook, pen, get comfy, and we're going to dive right in. So welcome to the 7 habits for a lifetime of health. I'm going to walk you through tonight my top habits, which I really think now the difference in making a habit. January is all about making a resolution, right? But resolutions are proven to really not stick. So when we think about making a habit is something that we do, and I'm going to be talking about habits more in detail. A habit is really something that we do. And when we do that habit for 90 days, a study has shown that it becomes like ingrained within us, right? And it's a lot different than a resolution because one, I think they're more sustainable. Instead of you're gonna say, I'm gonna give up sugar forever, right? Maybe that's sustainable for you, maybe it's not. It depends on your body type, it depends on your health, it depends on your ability to follow along with something. But if we were almost more general with foundations of habits, it creates a better stability for our house. Like you think of our houses on 4 pillars, it creates a better foundation for us to create wellness. So we're going to be talking about like how to create longevity and how to create a better place of health for aging. To really, it's like the anti-aging. The more that we bring in habits of healthy foundation, the longer the life we will live. And we want to create happy and healthy lifestyle that lasts for decades, right? Not just in the moment. And habits can put a drain on your system, or they can make life really great. And these are the ones I picked out today. We're going to go over that I have seen, that I practice myself, of course, and I see with my patients that have the best success and the best results. And the best part is really you can choose which habits you're thinking like you want to help switch your things up for 2023. You're going to look at those and be like, maybe I'll just start with one habit, or maybe like, I can make these changes and start these 3 new ones. And so that's one thing we'll talk about today. Okay, so good or bad habits are really built over time, right? For example, maybe your habit is drinking 2 cups of coffee 3 times a day. That's a habit, and your body gets into its cellular memory, a place of that habit, right? It says, and it triggers you, like maybe you feel more fatigued, or maybe you have cravings, all types of things. Or maybe it's a good habit. Maybe your habit is every day at 7 a.m, you get up and go for a run, or maybe you go for a walk, or you do yoga, or you make a smoothie. So there's all kinds of different habits. And some habits require more dedication and retraining, right? And that's because we have to retrain our body to one, feel the effects. We're like, oh yeah, this habit makes me feel so good. And that can be just as simple as drinking more water or making nutritious food. So when you're building that foundation for good habits, you may have to get rid of some of the bad ones, right? Before you can make any progress. It's like we want to identify which ones in our life might be bad, might be hindering. And sometimes you might not really realize that they're really causing that much quote unquote damage to your health. So you really want to take a look at those all across the board. Okay. And then whether you're trying to create a new lifestyle or just give yourself the best chance of a happy and healthy life, changing up your habits, creating new ones is a great way to really move forward, especially for 2023. The past 2+ years have really been a crazy place during the pandemic. We're still moving out of it. And we want to make sure that we're creating new habits moving forward that help us to have less stress, have us to have better nutrition, have better sleep, right? All those foundations for health. So let's talk about what is a habit. So you really, before we go about building something totally new, let's say you're going to train for a marathon, you want to know exactly what you're building, right? Why are you creating this habit? what are the pieces that it's going to take to bring in the habit? Maybe something easy, not like I gave water as an example earlier, but water can sometimes be challenging to bring on. Maybe you're busy, you forget to drink water all day. There's ways that can help. A habit that might be easy for you might be challenging for your best friend, or vice versa. And so you want to look and see what that habit is. And we use the word quote unquote habit to talk about a lot of different things, right? So you might have a habit of biting your nails, or squinting when you read, or picking up a cigarette, or having a drink of alcohol, or having a cup of coffee, any of these things. And a lot of them are habits that we create around stress, around the sympathetic nervous system, that fight or flight, as a way for our body to deal with stress, as a way for it to rebalance and reset. But when that stress starts to elevate and become chronic, then those habits start to increase more and more. So habits are behaviors or actions that are repeated regularly under the same circumstances. So for example, when we're in the place of stress, maybe your go-to is to have a cookie, right? And the more stressed you are, the more cookies you are. You're like, oh my God, I had 20 cookies today. What happened? And so you can end up in a rut of habits without even thinking about it, because they become, it's like the hamster on the wheel, right? They become more and more, and also easier if you do it because it comes in your subconscious. It's a tape loop or a wire in your brain that is sending the message of, oh yeah, this is what I do. This is what I do. This is what I do. And then if I don't have to think about it, then I can have my energy be on something else. It can take months to get rid of a habit. It can be easy. It can take a day, or it can take months, right? It just depends on what that habit is, the impact that it's giving you, how long has it been ingrained in your lifestyle? Is it something that you've had since childhood? Is it something that your parents ingrained in you? There's lots of different reasons when we look at our habits as to how they are affecting us. And since these actions, like I said, are happening subconsciously in the brain, it's a wiring system, right? Our brain is all these neurotransmitters communicating in different ways through the neural network of our body, through the spine, right? And so it's difficult sometimes to find the drive to change them in your conscious mind, right? Because your conscious mind is a different place than subconscious. And you have to fight against those ingrained patterns to get anything done, right? So it's like, okay, maybe your pattern is drinking coffee. I'm going to coffee and water because these are common ones that people are often trying, or maybe sugar is a really good one too. So maybe your pattern in the subconscious mind is anytime that you're stressed out, your body then goes to something sweet. It craves that. It's like you feel like that message never stops, right? And then that's when, if you're working with the conscious mind to then shift that habit, it's more challenging than dealing with the subconscious mind. So why should we change our habits in the first place? So maybe when you take a good look at your life, you think, my habits aren't so bad. Why should I change them up? So changing your habits can be hard. And when you start, you want to really take a inventory of your habits. And maybe you're looking like, okay, and maybe you want to put that into categories. So you have maybe it's financial habits, maybe it's work habits, health habits, relationship habits, food habits. I like to put my habits into categories because it really helps me to break it down and see them. Like maybe, for example, you have a relationship habit where if XYZ happens, maybe you and your partner always have a fight. Okay, that's a habit. Why is it happening? Maybe your habit is not doing exercise because you make a specific routine for yourself that you're like, oh, I'm too busy, I'm too tired. And you make excuses and that habit is not doing exercise, right? Instead of doing exercise. So there's all these different components. So I find that categorizing them can help. If that helps you, that's a good way to go about it. And after all, habits you have aren't really harming you or necessarily anyone around you. They're just a little bit annoying without the drag of true harm. And I say that with a caveat, because if you do have a habit, like I've mentioned, there are some addictive habits that can be harming: smoking, alcohol, caffeine overload, specific food habits that can be harming your health. So they can be harming. It just depends on what level they're happening. If they're on the subconscious, the conscious level, what's your extreme rate with that specific habit. Okay, so let's talk about mixing up and changing the habits. So when we look at our habits, I recommend kind of like writing down on a piece of paper, what are some of the habits? And if it's hard for you to identify them, then use that category idea that I had. Okay, you're going to make a piece of paper. You're going to have at the top, these are my habits that I'm going to be identifying. And sometimes they're harder to identify than others because they might be in our subconscious or conscious mind. Guys, relationships, food, sleep, stress, all those things. And then what are your habits around those? Maybe every time you're stressed, you eat comfort food. That's a very common one. What is that comfort food for you? Maybe it's maybe it's an apple, or maybe it's going to something else like sweet or lots like pizza, something like that. So you want to identify those habits. And instead of reaching, for example, the caffeine in the morning or the donut or something unhealthy, switching to a cold glass of water or a nice cup of green tea can help you be healthier in the long run, right? It's all about what habits can we make now that are sustainable, habits that stick, habits that are going to help lay that foundation for long-term health. And while there's really nothing wrong with caffeine specifically, it in very large amounts, and it changes the way that your body relates to energy. It sends a different neurotransmitter communication to the level of energy and the false sense of energy. It can also be damaging for your adrenal systems and create a lot more fatigue in the long run. So changing up your old habits can increase your health and help you live longer and better, right? That's our outcome for today's webinar, really, is to create these new habits to help us live healthier and longer. Now, some of you might know that are tuning in tonight that have worked with me for a long time, or even shortly in the beginning. And if you're new to working with me, welcome, or you're new even to this webinar, welcome. And some of you might know that I had an accident, a car accident a couple of weeks ago, like a week and a half. And so I've been looking at my own life, right? So what habits do I have that maybe they were contributing to the accident, right? What habits do I need to start working with? Like I've started going to the chiropractor. I'm going to make a habit of doing that 3 times a week. I'm changing the way I'm eating to have less inflammatory foods, to make a habit for foods that will help nurture my body. How's my stress level, right? It's going to be very stressful. So I'm really taking an inventory of my nervous system. So I'm doing the same thing, right? I'm looking at my life from that microscope, or also from the bigger perspective about what can I change to really help my body, one, heal more quickly, heal more efficiently, and also be even better than before the accident ever even happened. So that's just a little bit behind the scenes about me. 7 habits for a lifetime, right? So if you're ready to work hard and change up your life, let's get started about building some of these habits. Like, what are they going to be? And you won't have to sign on to any crazy diet or anything like that. Oops. Okay, you don't have to start signing on any crazy diet plans. I am going to send you, as I mentioned, my great recipes for this month. I'm sorry, I don't know why it keeps doing that. I'm going to send you my great recipes for this month. And that's really going to help you to eliminate some of the target foods that can be producing, like sugar and wheat and dairy, to really start to eat some clean foods moving into the new year. And I'm not expecting you or asking you to do some crazy new exercise routine, but maybe that's something that you want to do yourself and you want to start. Like, maybe what's your challenge? Your challenge might be, I'm going to just start walking. My new habit is walking every day, right? I myself am training for a 12K race in May. So one of my goals is to really create more habits for myself with exercise so that I'm stronger, especially after the accident. How can I make my body be stronger? What exercise can I do? Can I do yoga? Could I do cardio? What are those pieces? And you're going to be asked to challenge yourself like every day and start building these new habits, right? Because this is going to how you create your best possible life. Okay, so let's talk about how to create a good routine. This is step number 1 for your healthy habits. And this is the pre-foundation, right? So we all know that getting quality sleep is crucial to good health, right? Studies have shown it. It's our restorative phase. It's when our liver detoxifies. It's 100% the part of our healing system and the foundations for good habits. But a key component of that good sleep is the habit of nighttime and waking up. And I myself, I have, which I recommend, and we're going to talk a little bit more about sleep, is I have a reminder set on my phone about, oh yeah, remember this is when, if you go to sleep now, you're going to have that great 8 hours of sleep. And so having some type of a habit in the nighttime, not only the time, but also specifics I'm going to share with you about a nighttime routine and a waking up routine. What does that look like for you? Is that having a great smoothie or having juice, or maybe you're meditating or doing yoga? What's your waking up routine? And if you're constantly going to bed at different times, skipping different steps, excuse me, in your routine and trying to sleep in and wake up at all times of the day, napping, it's hard to get the quality of sleep that you need and your body needs. Your body craves routine, regularity. It's that which helps regulate your adrenal system and your nervous system, the resting and digesting mode of your parasympathetic mode. When you're creating these crazy changes, or even not crazy, but very different changes in your routines, it causes stress on the adrenal system and the stress hormone cortisol. Now, your body is going to crave these regular systems and routines, and that's why a bedtime and morning routine are so important. So I recommend really at first, like starting to take a look at your bedtime routine. What does that look like? Are you playing on your phone while you're in bed? That's not good for your hormonal system and the blue lights. I recommend turning all electronics off an hour before bed to allow your body to reset. Are you reading a book in bed or listening to relaxing music or audiobooks? So spend time doing your routine, nurturing yourself, washing your face, moisturizing your skin, brushing your teeth, putting on your favorite PJs before crawling into bed. Like, what is the self-care aspect of your nighttime routine that really nurtures you and resets your system and creates a great habit? And make sure you're setting that alarm for what is your ideal sleep. Now, 6 to 8 hours is the ideal range, and that might differ for you as an individual. So see what that looks like. I myself try to get a good 8 hours in every night. I know it's important for my body, my health, my restoration, my brain, my patience, my lifestyle. And so that's why I keep track of that with a reminder to tell me, hey, this is when you need to go to sleep to get those 8 hours. And then when you wake up in the morning, don't want to lay in bed for a long time and lose. It's not good for your system to have that set for your hormones. You want to really try to get up and out of bed, even if you're feeling a little fatigued, and get going. This is going to reset your system and set that habit to align for energy for that first wake up system and not go back into a dream state. And this is going to really set your track for the rest of your day. And when you wake up, and the first thing you want to do is spend some time with mindset techniques, journaling, meditation, or planning your day. What is your day going to look like? What is the time you have set out in your day for you, just for you, nothing, no one else, just you, right? And so you want to have that approach with a clear mindset before all the aspects of the day start running in, right? You're like, oh my gosh, I got to take the kids to school. What am I going to make for dinner? I got to go shopping. I got to work, whatever it is, all those pieces come in. So you want to create the clean slate, the clear mindset before you really dive deep into your day. So every bedtime and wake up routine is going to look different, right? Be sure to focus on the steps you're taking in each area and make sure they work for you. Every person is individual. Of course, I'm going to help with recommendations because I have seen how habits work, not only for myself, but for my patients and the success that they have. But you are unique. You're your own individual. It's individualized health, individualized medicine. This is how you succeed. And you want to take steps to make sure in each area of your life that they're sticking, right? These habits are sticking. If you fall back into an old routine, why did you do that, right? You want to look and examine, oh, I was trying to make a new habit for my sleep, but I got right back into my old habit of staying up till 3 a.m. watching, binging on Netflix, right? So you need to look and examine at the specific things that are causing your new habits might not be sticking. So you'll soon find you have not only the sleep you need to function, but you created a new habit. So sleep and creating new habits is very important. So number 2, drinking plenty of water. And I'm going to take a nice sip myself. I really can't emphasize enough how important water is. Every system in our body needs water to function, especially our brain, our detoxification system, our hormones, our neurotransmitters, our joints, our bones, our digestive system. Every part of our body needs water, and many people don't drink enough water. And if this is a challenging place for you, there's ways you can use to create and work with an app that can help for drinking water, set some alarms on your phone, make it fun, maybe challenge a friend or a buddy. There's lots of ways. So if you're ready to have the best life possible, hands down, water is key, one of the major foundations. And it's time to go back to drinking 8 glasses a day if you haven't. And first of all, I would recommend keeping track. Maybe tomorrow you're going to start, okay, I'm just going to see how many glasses I drink today, and I'm going to keep track of it, right? Maybe you're going to take a little note in your phone, or maybe if you're working with me, you're going to put it into your patient journal, or maybe you're going to put it into your health journal for 2023, whatever it is, you want to keep track of it. That way, you know what habit you're working with. Increasing the amount of water you drink over sugary beverages is key, and lowering caffeine choices. This is going to keep your body healthy and your mind really clear for 2023. So the amount of water you drink really impacts every area of your life. Like I was saying, your whole body. It affects your skin. It affects your internal organs. Even the quality of sleep is affected because that's our detoxification. Your body needs water to restore all of the cells. And upping your water intake and creating a new habit with water is going to really give you this new lease on life, this new place of life. And you're going to, I know you will feel the difference when you increase water, whether that's you're noticing like, oh my gosh, I'm so full. I'm drinking so much water. Your body, that means your body's not absorbing it well because it's not used to all this extra water. So then you're going to, okay, how am I going to help my cells to increase that intake into their cellular fluid, the cellular fluid inside the cells. And that happens through a sodium potassium gateway. And so by just having a little salt in your water, that can be really helpful. You can do a little salt and lemon water in the morning. That can be helpful. And then you can also keep track of how many times you're urinating. So maybe you drink a glass of water and immediately you have to go to the bathroom and urinate. That means it's flowing right through you and your body's not retaining that water. So these are some keys to work with as you're evaluating your water habit and making a new one. So boosting your water intake can be difficult, especially if you're relied on other types of sugary drinks and caffeine and alcohol, whatever it is to get you through the day. These are a few things that can really help you to stay on track. So start by using a habit tracker. Like I mentioned, that can be an app. You can look in the App Store or Google it. Count how many bottles or glasses of water you drink each day. So you want to start by recognizing how much you're doing, and then make some fun, right? Get a reusable water bottle that reflects your personality, decorate it with your liking. Like I like to put fun stickers on mine. And be sure to carry it with you everywhere as a physical reminder that you need to drink more water, right? If you have one that you use at work, maybe you have a special bottle you use at work, or maybe you want to have a bigger bottle that you're bringing all your water at once from home, where it's a really healthy filtered water, where you're even adding in some of your supplements. Like how can you have your water be the healthiest, most fun, and easiest for you? So if you're still struggling to drink water during the day, share your struggles with your accountability partner. Share your struggles with me so I can help. Talk to your friend, talk to someone you trust, and share your goals and ambitions around drinking the water so they can help you stay accountable. You're like, hey, buddy, I'm going to challenge you. Let's see if we can both drink 8 glasses of water a day, and then talk to each other. Oh my gosh, I was so busy from 12 to 3. I didn't drink any water. And so you can see that. And some people will then put a lot more water toward the end of the day when they come home from work. And that can cause you to go to the bathroom a lot during the night, which disrupts your sleep cycle. So being consistent throughout the day will have an end result of a much better stability and balance and homeostasis. Okay, number 3, get out and get active. This is so important for so many reasons. Exercise has been studied to help increase circulation. It helps with detoxification. It helps reduce stress. It, of course, tones the body. It helps with our joints. The list goes on and on why exercise is so important. It is a key cornerstone in your foundations of health. And getting active can be one of the hardest habits to implement because if you've been stagnant or you haven't been exercised, it's easy to make excuses like, oh, it's too cold, I'm too tired, it's too hot, I don't have the right clothes, I don't have the right equipment. It's easy to go on and on, right? But a body in motion stays in motion. So when you exercise, everything stays in motion. A body at rest stays at rest. Everything starts to slow down and atrophy, making it hard to then jumpstart that new habit, that new lifestyle component. You spent so long being inactive, that is the habit of being inactive. So if you want to improve your life and create a really healthy habit when it comes to exercise, it's time to get up and get moving. And that can just be walking and simply walking. Maybe you're starting out, you're like, okay, I can only do 10 minutes a day. That's great. Just get out there and do it. And then make a new goal like, okay, today to 10, tomorrow I'm going to do 15. Increase that, right? And I recommend at least 30 minutes of exercise a day. It really depends on what your goal is. And you want to, if you have days where you can work out more longer on some days than other, then you can also do a weekly calculation, right? Like, okay, maybe Monday, Wednesday, and Friday are your longer days where you're doing cardio and also some weight training. You're like, okay, that was a total of 180 minutes. So what's your long-term goal? If you did 30 minutes times 7, that would be 350 minutes. So maybe you're like, okay, I already worked out 180, then the rest of those other days can be split up. Okay, that makes sense. So you don't have to start out by going for 10 miles or joining an intense gym to get moving and continuing to be active. You can, if that is something that helps motivate you. Of course, that some people like that, like they're that kind of like all or nothing personality, but you don't want to have a place where you're setting yourself up for failure. You want to set yourself up for success. So start small with an activity and then build up from there, especially because you can overdo it, right? Especially if you haven't been exercising, you can cause damage on your body and joints and wear yourself out. Oh my God, I can't exercise. That was horrible, right? So building up is really important. Getting active can be as simple as going for a walk in the evening to relax, getting moving, or playing with the grandkids in the backyard. You can also opt for simple movement programs that don't put stress on your body, like yoga, Pilates, a light, gentle exercise, walking, swimming, anything that might not push your body too fast. So if you're ready to up your game, you can start learning to jog or run or create a new set of routines around exercise. There's lots of different, of course, different companies that help with exercise. I love Yoga with Adriene on YouTube. It's free yoga. That one's great. I also personally use Tone It Up. I like it. It's an exercise program it's a paid one, but it has lots of different exercises that challenge me and I can do them anywhere in the world when I'm traveling. It's great. So that's a good one. But also just getting outside. Your body needs fresh air. Your lungs need fresh air. So getting outside, in addition to being active, lets your body breathe in the fresh air, right? Good for your oxygen, good for your lungs, good for your blood, your circulation, and it improves happiness, right? Our brain needs oxygen. And exercise is one of the best habits you can include in your life as it improves your physical, mental, and emotional health, right? It's that triangle. It improves all those categories of our health. Okay, create a nutritional plan. This is key for 2023. This is the foundation of your health. What does that look like to you? I mentioned earlier that I'm reevaluating my own habits around food and creating new ones to help my body heal after the accident. Some of you working with me know that I guide you to help make specific nutritional choices that help your body to heal, ignite that healing within you. And there's making nutritional changes can be challenging, especially if you have a household where everyone is eating a different way than you. I suggest making a complete household change around health, where especially if you're the main food maker, that you're in charge of that. This is what you're eating tonight. This is going to be healthy for you, right? This is what I'm making and you can eat it. The things that are easy to make usually aren't the best for your body and won't nourish it the way you need to eat them. Now, I'm not saying that all healthy food takes a long time, but you don't want to go to fast food. That's not healthy. It doesn't have the nutrients. It's why it's called fast, right? It's not loaded with the dense nutrients your body needs and the multivitamins and macronutrients. So by creating a new nutrition habit, you set the stage, that foundation for a healthier relationship with food. And this is the important key piece for 2023 is a healthy relationship with food. What is it? And first you got to look and see, what is your relationship with food? What have you been eating? Have you been eating, maybe December was like a crazy place for you where you ate all over the board. You're like, okay, I really need to cut back on what I've been eating and re-examine, bring in vegetables and fruits, healthy foods, non-inflammatory foods, reduce gluten, sugar, dairy, eggs, whatever it is that you've been eating more of, and just look at from that healthy, whole rounded, holistic perspective. And that's what I mentioned about all the recipes that you're going to get with this webinar tonight. You're going to get great recipes to start making some healthy food for January. So a key component of a nutrition plan that differs from a diet is that it's catered to your specific needs. Rather than trying to count calories or diving into a fad diet, you get to create the best plan that takes into account what your body really needs to be healthy, right? That's where we want to look. What does your body need? One of the first things you can do to help you create this nutrition habit is to really track your food with a food journal. You can use that if you're already a patient, you can use that in the portal or you can use a piece of paper. And you want to see what you're eating and what needs to be changed. I look at all the food over the board, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, liquids, all of that, and simply observe the type of food you're eating and when and what you're eating, when you're eating it, and then begin to alter it and reflect your change in what your body needs. And if you find in your regular food routine that you need to add more nutrients, then speak to a healthcare provider like myself about maybe adding some supplements. Maybe you need to do some detoxification to get some things out of your system. What is individual to you? That's the way that I work with my patients, is very individualized. What is best for you? I do programs, but then also it's about the individualized aspect. What are you specifically needing? And we can fine tune that so that you're getting everything the best that you need. So many of the minerals and nutrients you need can be obtained through a great meal plan, but supplements are always an option, right? If you're finding like, okay, I'm just not getting the B vitamins I need, then let's take a look at that. Okay, another piece is trading in your coffee for tea. Now, caffeine is unfortunately going to make your stress worse. It doesn't allow your stress hormone cortisol to regulate properly, and it increases your stress levels. And if you drink a lot of caffeine, especially, it's going to trigger you to all types of illnesses that aren't healthy. So now is a really great way to reduce your caffeine, and just take a note of that in your journal. How much caffeine? You want to look at all the different things. You're getting it from green tea, black tea, coffee, sugary drinks, whatever it is. Where are you getting your caffeine? And you don't have to give it up completely. I'm just asking you to take a look at how much you're drinking and reduce it. Are you drinking 6 cups a day? Okay, that's a great way to start some reduction. And I recommend like 1 cup a day, then gradually increase or decrease that caffeine depending on what you've been doing, your old pattern is, and adding in a lot of non-caffeinated beverages like herbal teas and things like that. So also a piece of nutrition is nutritional deficiencies. So the first thing that can happen if you have a poor diet is that you have nutritional deficiencies, and sometimes they're hard to see, but some things like it could be a dry hair or brittle nails or dry skin, a skin rash. It could be lots of different things. So sometimes we don't notice them right away till like, oh my gosh, my hair is falling out. It's all dry. What's going on? What do I need? So you want to look at that. And again, remember that nutrition is physical, emotional, and mental, right? It helps with all those pieces. So for example, did you know that folate can affect your mood and lead to more depression? So if you're getting the wrong type of folate, or if you're not getting enough, so you want to get your folate from foods like eggs, asparagus, spinach, and avocado. So a folate deficiency can lead to depression. That's what that means there, if that's a little bit unclear. Okay, also, here are some other things that can affect. So, omega-3 fatty acids, making sure you're getting your healthy fats, salmon, tuna, walnuts, olive oil. Vitamin D, so important. And vitamin D helps you feel energized and happy. It really helps us to have a balanced mood. And we can get vitamin D from foods like fatty fish, eggs, dairy. Fortified cereal is a way, not the best choice, I think, or you can also get it from a supplement. Some things to look at for 2023 is, when is the last time you had your wellness panel done and had all your labs looked at? Where are you standing with that piece? When is the last time you had your vitamin D tested? Are you low? Are you high? Do you need a supplement in addition to the food intake? Fiber, eating more fiber is super important to get those bowels moving. Fruit, avocado, whole grains, vegetables, these are going to get things moving and flowing in the system. And the nutritional deficiencies also include calcium, iron, and protein. Calcium, while many people get their calcium from dairy and yogurt, you might not be someone who can eat a lot of dairy, for instance. In this case, you want to make sure you're getting it from other foods like almonds, sesame seeds, leafy greens like kale. Iron, you want to make sure you're getting enough iron. Iron is really important for our blood system. And you can get that from red meat, turkey, nuts, seeds, pumpkin seeds, almonds, broccoli, dark chocolate, lots of good sources of iron. And then protein, you want to make sure you're getting a really good level of protein. If you don't know how much protein to get, you can check with me or do a protein calculator based on your age and height. And most people, I would say, are in that average. Really depends on the person. If you're male, female, what you're eating, your height, weight, and exercise is very individualized. So you want to make sure you're checking that, and you can get a protein evaluation from me as well if you need to do that, especially with your genetics. Okay, number 5 is develop a stress outlet. This is so key as a habit, very important. I would say this is like one of my number one things, because stress is, as we've seen with the pandemic, the stress can cause a lot of different aspects on our health. So holding on to stress is a habit that many of us have without even realizing we're clinging to, right? Like, you want to really evaluate what your stress level is, where is it coming from, all the different avenues, and then what is your outlet. So all the stress can pile up, and it can be causing you physical, like neck pain, back pain, stomach pain, joint pain, digestive issues, hormonal imbalance, mental strain, brain fog, thyroid problems. There's lots of different ways that stress affects the body. A simple healthy habit you can develop that will take the pressure off your mind and body is develop a stress outlet. Super important. This is basically your stress steam release, right? As I talked about, as exercise is a great one to reduce stress. So managing your stress can be as simple as creating like a journaling habit, a meditation habit right away in the morning, like I talked about. Spending time each day putting your feelings into words through journaling gives you a real way to look back and see your progress, right? Especially if you're creating these new habits for 2023, write them down so you can go back and look, oh yeah, I did all these habits. What are some other ones I want to create? That was awesome and fun. And look at what I'm doing in my life. Look how I feel. Look at how amazing everything's going. A journal is a really great way to keep track. And there's lots of different journals out there that some even like health journals that will allow you to track exercise, water, food, sleep. It depends on what kind of person you are and what you like to track. You can also spend time focusing on avoiding any areas of high stress. So when you're doing that inventory of what areas of stress on a scale of 1 to 10 can be really helpful. Like, for example, financial stress. So where are you in that financial stress? Are you like, oh my God, I'm stressed out to the 10? So you want to keep track of that on a scale of 1 to 10 so you can reevaluate as you create new habits. And journaling about these areas of high stress can help you to identify these stressors, any extra stressors that need to be avoided. So focusing on mindfulness, right? Here's a great picture of meditation. Mindfulness is regularly recommended for stress because it helps you to live in the moment, to not even connect with something that might be causing you stress. And for a great habit to start for 2023, for not doing it already, is a daily self-care meditation routine. And then using a stress journal. So this is that piece I mentioned before about creating that stress journal to allow you to have an outlet to reduce the stress, to figure out and diagnose what your stress levels are, right? And understand more about what your stress is, because we want to be able to identify it so that we can actually then make new habits around it, right? If you don't know what it is, how are we going to help ourselves be better? So you also see there's other side effects of stress, such as I mentioned, worry, headaches, digestive issues, increased anxiety, problems sleeping, work productivity. It goes on and on, really. And find moments to calm your mind and body. So you want to find moments, little moments throughout the day. I call them my de-stress moments, my calm moments. I actually schedule them into my calendar. I have my morning routine time, and then I have a de-stress time in between patients where I can breathe and reset myself. Then during my lunch, I have time. And then in the evening, I have all these different times during the day where I spend time to help to reset my body and calm my mind. So having a de-stress moment throughout the day is very helpful. So number 6, gathering a community. Look at that great picture. I love it. A community is really important for changing your habits and creating new ones, because you feel like it's you against the world, right? So having a team, a group of people, a community of like-minded people who help you and encourage you, this is how you help to make your change your habits really easily. So your community might be a coach, it might be a naturopathic physician like myself, it might be others in a health class, it might be friends in a school group, or just family members who are nearby. It can be anyone, it could be your loved one. You want to spend time cultivating that community, gathering the type of people that you want around you, that nurture you and support you. Okay, number 7 is to take a tech time out. It's amazing how much time I track my screen time, because it's very useful for me. Like I'm like, oh my God, I spent X amount of hours, because I work on my computer a lot. So I need to have my downtime with blue light blocker glasses, things to help me sleep, things to have downtime. So we use technology in every day, and a lot of us use it in our jobs, right? And we want to promote a healthy lifestyle by taking a tech time out, whether that's you're disengaging during a whole vacation, or you're taking time out at night, or maybe you don't start your day with tech. Whatever that is, you can take a look and see what those habits are. Are you turning on your phone and immediately going to your emails from work as soon as you get up? That's super stressful. Maybe your habit is, okay, I'm not going to start my work emails until it's time I start work, right? We're in this age of electronics and fast pace where everyone thinks you should be tuned on all the time, but you have to create those boundaries, especially when it comes to tech. And set aside all forms of technology and really make an effort every day to give yourself a break, because that's going to help your mind reset, your body reset, your mental and emotional resets. Okay, and this is the little bonus. I talked a little bit about sleep, but it's so important that I feel like it's like number 8 in the habits. So sleep is really an integral part of being healthy, energized, and well-adjusted. It's key. It can affect you in so many ways, like I mentioned. If you're already having a great deal of stress and not sleeping well, this is really the time, the beginning of the year, to really evaluate with that, whether that's with me or you're doing that with your own health habits. I can help you do a whole sleep evaluation and really reset your system, or you're doing that just through your own evaluation, writing those things down. And you want to look at your qualities of sleep. Are you waking up throughout the night? Are you sleeping 6 hours, sleeping 8 hours? Are you waking up rested? Are you feeling sleep deprived? What's your level? Like personally, after my recent accident, I've been feeling so tired because my body is healing and waking up like, oh my gosh, could I just have another hour? So I've been listening to that. I talked about creating habits and setting that routine time, but I'm also been looking and seeing, okay, does my body need a little bit more sleep right now? Is it sleep deprived because it's healing? What does that look like? So you really want to stop the cycle, whatever your sleep cycle is. If it's poor, you want to stop that, or maybe setting a new routine, or maybe you have a great sleep cycle. Awesome. How can you improve it? But look at all those areas and work on your nighttime routine, really getting a great routine set for 2023. And then have a self-care routine. So this is important. You want to make sure that you have a self-care routine. What are you doing? Whether that's maybe you're doing a bath every night or your shower, you're putting on calming music, you're meditating, you're writing your journal, you're drawing, painting, whatever it is, what relaxes you and brings you peace and joy, and having that routine, bringing in that new habit routine. I myself, I read. I turn off all my electronic devices an hour before bed, and then I put on relaxing spa music. I always put on music in the bedroom to really help me relax, to reset my brain. And then I'll read a book, and I like to use a real book instead of my electronic device. I just pins, but I really prefer that. And then I usually fall asleep with it when I'm reading the book, but that really helps to reset my system. That's my personal routine. Okay, so taking charge of your health. This is important, right? What are you doing to take charge of your health for 2023? So we went through a ton of habits, right? We went through all the habits we're setting for. I went through 7 habits, and then I also did a bonus habit with sleep. It's setting 8 habits. So that's important, right? How are you going to take charge of your health for 2023? What are those habits you're going to bring in? So habits are yours to make and break, right? When you're stuck in a bad habit rut, it may take some time and effort, but you are in charge of your health story. How are you going to rewrite your health story and your future for 2023? How are you going to take charge of it? How are you going to refocus your health? A huge component of the new habits is a renewed sense of being in charge of your own life again. When we start to feel so disconnected from our own power and our choices, we don't feel like we're in control of our habits. So this is a great time to evaluate that and regain your power. Your health is in your hands. It is you. It's individualized to you. It's in every decision that you make, from when you get up in the morning, to what you eat, to what you sleep, to what you exercise, to when you go to bed. It's all in your hands. And how are you going to create your change of your habits for 2023? What does that look like for you? Are you going to get outside? Are you going to drink more water? Are you going to exercise? What's your mental, physical, and emotional habit tracker and change for 2023? Oops. So this attitude really carries into every area of your life, right? When you find yourself like simply sitting on the couch waiting for something to happen, you are not in control. You're not in power. You're not empowered of your ship, right? Who is in charge of driving your ship of health? And as you practice really getting up and feeling empowered, getting active, this is a new attitude of health. You're going to find you have confidence to speak out about your health to doctors, to health practitioners, healthcare practitioners, about what's really bothering you, really diving deep into being in charge of your own health. And you may also find that you have the power within you to try something new, right? To improve your health. And what does that look like? So always remember that creating new habits takes time and dedication. But when you preserve, you reap the rewards, right? You find your health better than it's ever been before. And there's no time like the present to get started with new habits that lead to a better This is like 2023 I feel like has really created a amazing new slate for people, because the pandemic was really hard for a lot of people. And so this really creates a healthy new habit and platform and foundation for you moving forward. So there's a couple things that go along with the webinar tonight. One is you're all enrolled in the kitchen clean out challenge. You might have already done this with me in the past, but hey, you can do it again, because your kitchen is always being reevaluated. What's in it? You've all been enrolled. You should have received an invite from us. And if you didn't, please feel free to reach out to us about that. You can email us and make sure you're enrolled, but you should have received that invite. And you'll also receive another invite. We'll resend it if you didn't get that. And then also, in conclusion with tonight, there's a couple of great things that you're going to receive tomorrow, and I want to go through them. So I have an amazing Transform Your Health program starting next week. This is an 8-week program to upgrade your wellness. It's to improve your energy and rewire your brain. It's going to de-stress by restoring emotional balance. It's going to tap into your ultimate resilience and unlock your DNA secrets to optimal health. So it's a great program. You're all going to receive a coupon for 25% off this program, and you'll be able to register for that tomorrow. So make sure you're on the lookout for that coming from us. Also, I have another webinar next week. This is a paid webinar, and you can sign up for that. It's an 8-day daily program to how to create visualization for optimal wellness. So how do you visualize, right? Really create your health vision for 2023. And so you'll receive a link to sign up for that and a 25% coupon as well. And then also, if you're interested in just working with me one-on-one, in addition to these programs, you can receive 10% off a initial wellness consultation with me. And there's a coupon there. You'll receive that link tomorrow. You can also register for a 15-minute discovery call with me if you haven't ever been a patient and you want to just see if we're in alignment for working together. You can also do that. And we're going to send that link out as well. Okay, great. And make sure if you want to email me, here's my info at doclulu.com. Myself and my team can get back to you. Make sure you're following me if you haven't already at Dr. Lulu Shemek on Instagram for all my great tips and recipes and webinars, all of that good stuff. And now I'm going to take time to wrap up and answer questions. Answer questions. There we go. And let's see here. And just as a disclaimer, tonight, anything that I talk about is not intended to diagnose or treat any disease, and make sure you're touching base with myself or a knowledgeable health practitioner before you change anything in regards to your health plan. Okay, let's see. We had a couple questions coming in. Someone said, thank you, very helpful session. You're so welcome. I hope that these habits or these tips that I gave you for these habits really help you to set up an amazing foundation for 2023. And it's really about just taking one habit at a time. And that's it, so it doesn't feel overwhelming. You don't want to increase your stress. You want to be able, like myself, I mentioned all the things I'm doing for myself, and I'm really starting to look at every area and rebooting a habit that I hadn't been working on, or restarting a new one. Let's see. And Manira said, Manira, I think I said your name wrong. I'm sorry. Manira. She said also she's starting a new routine from tomorrow morning. That's great. That's awesome. Yeah. And it's a great way to really start yourself for 2023 and just look at the different things going on and how can you shift things up. And Andrea said she loves playing her crystal sound bath bowls to help calm everything down in stress. Yeah, that's a really good one. There's so many great ones for stress. I love to use essential oils and yoga, meditation, journaling. I love dancing, going out and seeing live music. There's so many different ways to really help create a wonderful place of de-stressing. And then let's see, a question was, so I know when I wake up and I crave my pop or soda in the morning, I've tried to switch to drinking water or green tea or anything healthy. Why it's so hard to always stick with doing new things and you want to fall back to old ways? Yeah, creating a new habit is hard. And when it comes to food and nutrition, especially sugar, our cells have a memory. And that's the piece I talked about in the beginning about 90 days. If you can really try to do a new habit for 90 days. Our cells have a memory pattern. And when it comes to food, they'll kind of like reboot themselves and some of them die. And we have new cells made, new red blood cells. So they basically think like it was new life, almost like a starfish, right? We have this new life that happens within our body every 90 days. So if we can remove something from the system for 90 days, a lot of those cravings go away and we have a reboot of sugar, alcohol, caffeine, dairy, gluten, corn, all the things that are inflammatory. Reducing those things for 90 days really gives yourself that reboot, really helps to reset the cells and that cellular memory. The same thing for a pharmaceutical. If you've been taking a pharmaceutical for a long time and you're coming off of it, your body has to reset. It's going to take that 90 days for your body to reset for new cellular memory. Okay, I'm not getting that pharmaceutical anymore. Maybe you were taking one for, I don't know, anti-inflammatory, a steroid. Your body is going to have to remember, right? What it's like to be without it. What is the new place? What is it doing in return to reset and nurture itself, right? Resetting. That was a great question, Andrea. And it's really important to recognize that your body needs time. right? And it allows us to really reset the system in a way of cellular memory, right? And so be gentle with yourselves as you're creating new habits, be aware and conscious, and give yourself the time and place and the freedom. I wanted to show you one more thing as we're wrapping up. Let me share. Just wanted to share. So this is what your kitchen clean out challenge will look like. It's 5 days. You're going to have a taking inventory. You're going to learn to wipe it down, replace and restock, reorganize, and then you did it. So it's a 5-day kitchen clean out challenge. So you're all entered into this. It's a great way to reset your system for 2023. And then the other piece I mentioned was the food recipe. Oops, I'm going to share the right one. Oh, yeah, it is. Here it is. So these are the recipe guide for 2023. It's really great. You're going to have 1, 2, 5 recipes, for instance, and you click on it. Here's a great blueberry shake. And then also I gave you basics. So here's all the things about making like a large steamed salad, how to make brown rice. Basics are really important when it comes to setting habits because you're setting your blood sugar up for success, right? You don't want to starve your body and then fail and eat things you're not ready to eat or your body doesn't need. So there's meatballs, there's some pork tenderloin, all kinds of good stuff here. There's some lunch things, some snacks, some dinner. Like I love this tahini lime bowl is so good. There's really great recipes in here, and you can see I've given options to most of all of these I think all of them are gluten-free. They're dairy with dairy alternatives. They're not 100% keto because they do have some beans in them, but you can switch things up. You can leave out beans if you're doing paleo or keto. You can add more protein, change up and do cauliflower rice if it's a rice bowl. So there's lots of different ways that you can change things up. So you're going to get that in your recap as well. Okay, so thanks everyone. I went a little bit over. Sorry about that. Thanks everyone for tuning in tonight. And if you have any questions, follow up, make sure to reach out. You can message me on Instagram or you can send me and my team an email and we'll send out the webinar recap tomorrow. Okay, I think that's it. Let's see. Oh, there's one thing. Another person said, I love coffee. I drink 2 cups a day, breakfast and after lunch. Tea takes sleep away. Yeah. So yeah, just evaluate what that afternoon coffee cup is doing. So in the morning, you're getting set for your day, but I would just look at that and say, okay, what is this doing? Is it really nurturing my body? What would it be if I did a different type of tea, or maybe I went for a walk or something like that. So anything, whatever it means for you, is that habit a good habit or a bad habit, right? You want to look at it, just evaluate it and see, okay, this is great. 2 cups of coffee is fine. But does your body really need it? And how does it need it? Is it nurturing your system? So that's a great way. And thanks for that comment, because I think that's true for everything when you're eating, drinking, etc. And Andrea said, welcome back from Mexico. Thanks, Andrea. Yes, I just got back on Friday from a vacation, much needed reset for my system, especially after the accident. So thank you everyone for tuning in tonight, and thank you for the rescheduling. I appreciate that as well. And tune in or message me if you have any questions. And we're also going to have some great webinars. Don't forget to register for the one next week, and then also coming up for February. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. And I look forward to seeing you at the next webinar, and have a great evening. Thanks again for tuning in. And thanks for all the great messages for my health. I really appreciate that as well. Good night.